for PATL. You are now streaming to Pound for Pound ATL.
What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again with with my main man Toby D. Doing the streaming thing from the house, which we're not normally doing. So we're gonna hope that this goes right. Let us know if you're hearing us or if you're having any issues or whatnot. So, Toby, what's going on with you, my man?
What's up, man? Hey, we got a lot to talk about, man. A lot of catching up.
No doubt. We definitely got some crazy times with everything that's going on out in the world, and we're gonna hope that this stream holds true. I'm getting some error messages on my end, but we're gonna push through as long as we can. So anywho, let's just let's just jump into it, man. We got a lot of stuff popping off with our Falcons. Obviously, by the title of what we got going on, we signed a hometown favorite in Todd Gurley. I know you Bulldog fans are excited about that one.
Woo-hoo.
So,
boy, I'm very excited. I think that was my most favorite signing. I nothing against Dante Fowler. I love that too, especially seeing him on his IG going crazy.
Yeah.
Drinking champagne and all of that stuff. But boy, I'm glad to get Todd Gurley back home.
I think so. I think that's going to be a real good, like just positive thing for the fan base. You got to figure that he's coming in a lot younger than the last Ram running back that we signed in Steven Jackson. Yes, there are some major concerns about his knee. But I don't think that, he played decent on it last year. He got almost 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns last year on a supposed, knee injury or whatever. So it's probably going to be a potential ticking time bomb, but I think it's a risk worth taking in my personal opinion.
Well, for the money they gave him, man, I don't see it being anything you got anything to lose. You got other running backs behind him. Edo Smith, possibly Brian Hill. You don't know what's going to really happen with that. And I don't really know, what's going to happen with our other guy, man. My mind kind of don't slip me with Quadre.
Right.
I don't know. He got more time as a goal line back and not much time, on the green grass.
Right. Now, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with Quadre Olison, because I feel like, same with you, he got real good play as a goal line back and a short yardage back, and it's possible that they just continue to use him in that set, but I wouldn't mind trying to at least develop him, I guess you could say. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if they ended up cutting ways with Edo, if they feel like he's going to end up being an injury risk such as Devontae ended up being, like with the concussions or whatnot. So it'd be interesting to see how that running back room shakes out. Plus, how many people out there are mocking us a running back in the draft as well, like a Cam Akers or a Zach Moss or whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see how that running back room ends up shaking out. But let's go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, I was about to say, Edo Smith didn't look like he got a lot of shine, even in the first 7 games under Dirk Koetter last year. I don't know if it was because they wanted to give Devontae Freeman all the chances they could to prove that he is the back of the future, or what. Even before Edo went down, he just didn't get a lot of, snaps on the field.
You're right. Edo, you figured that he was going to be more in play than what they showed. But then again, I wonder how much of that ended up being like Dirk Koetter's propensity to not to want to run the ball, or using the excuse that, we were always behind, so you couldn't really run the ball. That'd be something that I'm interested to dig into this coming off season as things start to slow down. Did it pan out where if we were up, did we end up running the ball more? So it'll be interesting to see how some of that stuff pans out. So let's hit chat real quick. Some of these people are popping off. Dexter Valor says, if Dirk can't run the ball this year, give him the Timberland boot. Yes, I agree. After everything that has been said, you go out and get Todd Gurley and then re-sign Kevin or Keith Smith and all this. Yeah, if he can't run the ball this year, then he got to go. Anthony Carey says, God bless y'all and rise up. Man, bless all y'all, for real. I just want to take a second to say, man, I hope all of y'all are blessed. I pray that God's watching out for all of you, because right now these are some tough times. And if there's one thing that we can turn to for the ones who are, of the religious sort, it's definitely God. That's for sure. But, all right. So Speed Falcon for Life says, what's up, fellas? We are making splashes. Speed, we are definitely making splashes. Splashes that I was not expecting coming into this free agency period.
Man, I'm getting
wet. No doubt. Yeah, it's hitting me all the way over here in Hiram. So
that probably didn't come out right, but
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Nick says, have good feelings that this Dirk's second time around year. Benoit getting used to the offense again. Okay, he's bringing up the whole second year, like Ryan under a OC for a second year, Koetter being here again for a second year. So I hope, man, I really do. There's some points that I'm going to get to here in a minute, but yeah, there's some positivity to look forward to. That's for sure. DeQuan Patton says, bless this stream. Thumbs up. Perfect timing. Man, what's going on? We appreciate y'all joining us. That's for sure. Jay Holland says, what's up, fellas from Dallas, Texas? What's up, Jay? Kojak Man Tuckett says, rise the F up. That's right. We are going to continue to rise up. Okay. He also says, appreciate the stream. So cool. We'll hit up these. Okay, Cody Paul, Fred Butts says, how about the Falcons being aggressive in free agency? Yes, something we're going to get into for sure tonight. Cody Paul says, split carries with Gurley, Hill, and Smith, depending on down and distance, and use Gurley and Olsen on short yards in the goal line. Gurley and Hill should get the bulk of the carries. I agree with that completely. I think your 1-2 punch should be Gurley and Brian Hill. That's, just my opinion on that. But let's get into some of this, free agency. Oh man, Falconator's back. What's up, Falconator? I hadn't seen you in a while. I'm glad to see you joining us again.
I
hope so too.
Well for you.
All right, so let's go ahead, and some people have approached it a handful of times. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Potentially 11 first round picks on offense at any given time. That is nuts.
That's great.
That in a way, I know it's going to sound stupid, but that in a way kind of like scares me a little bit. I know it's going to sound like crazy, but you remember a few years ago when you had the quote unquote dream team up in Philadelphia, and they had Mike Vick, and they had what was the other quarterback's name? Was it Culpepper?
No, they had what was his name?
I'm losing it.
Randall.
Yeah. Anyway, so they had all that talent up there in Philly, and then they just crapped the bed big time that season. And I'm having like premature flashbacks of what of that team up there. But then again, the big difference in my opinion is I think you had Chip Kelly as the offense or as the head coach, and he wasn't very good to begin with. So at least not for the NFL.
It was still Andy Reid at that time. That's when they tried to build that power. Yeah, it was still Andy Reid at that time. Because it didn't work out, that's why he ended up getting the boot.
That's right.
But
that's right.
Yeah, they had Asamoah, big time cornerback from the Raiders who got blown out by Julio Jones when we went up there after the bye week to play him in 2012.
Right.
I think that's when they had Fletcher Cox. They had a whole bunch of guys on the defense that they was just rounding up like big time name guys and bringing them over there. And when they came out and said they were gonna make Super Bowl, yeah, that's. As long as we don't do that, I think we'll be fine.
I think we'll be okay as long as we ain't.
Yeah.
Well, look, like I said in my video the other day, and hey, man, I appreciate y'all's support on that video. These last couple of videos, I really appreciate y'all the way y'all been supporting this channel the last couple of weeks has been amazing. But like I said in that video, how many times have the Browns won the off season and then turned around and did nothing? So I'm not necessarily like losing my mind on what we're doing, so to speak. I'm glad that we're making some moves, but I don't think it guarantees us much of anything at this junction. Somebody brought it up. Looks like Speed Falcon brought it up. It says, who's going to be our linebacker since Devondre Campbell is gone? That's a good question to ask, Speed. That's a question I've had for a minute now. Especially, I'm going to have a deeper dive on the channel towards this weekend, I believe. But something I'm looking into, how are we going to replace Devondre Campbell? Because I think that's a bigger deal than some people are making it out to be right now. But I'm just getting into rewatching some of the back end film, so it may not be as big of a deal as I'm initially thinking that it could be. But that was a person that I was hoping that we were going to be able to re-sign. The Cardinals got him for $8 million, almost $10 million a year with incentives. That was more than the Falcons were going to pay. I mean, you knew that. You weren't going to tie up that much money in linebacking core, unfortunately. And Foye Oluokun has done a pretty good job when he's been pressed into service. So they may be higher on Foye than we're thinking. That the draft will tell you how high we think, the draft will tell you how high they are on Foye. If they take a linebacker in the first 2 rounds, then they're not super confident on Foye. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like Foye, man, but I don't think I'm that confident. And I know he's a smart guy. Went to Harvard, or is it Harvard he went to?
Harvard or Yale? It's one of those. I'm sure we'll hear it again when the season starts up.
So either way it goes, I don't know if I'm confident with all the smarts that he does have, book smarts, that he's going to be that second guy in command that now that Devondre Campbell's gone. I'm not comfortable with that right now.
Yeah, I think I'm, at least at this junction, I think I'm right there with you. Can he come in and be a serviceable back? Yes, I think he can be. Can he, when we do deploy, 3 linebackers, when we're in our base sets or whatever, can he be that third linebacker? Yes, I believe he can be that third linebacker, but I'm not 100% sure if I trust Foye Oluokun beside Debo every snap like you had Devondre Campbell. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. Now, we did see come down the pipeline today that they did sign a linebacker, but it was Leroy Reynolds, who we've had here before. Right? I mean,
I'm excited about him. I told you, I'm excited about special teams. He's special teams.
He's a special teams demon, and he also brings a lot of energy, which is good. You're losing some energy, in guys like Mohamed Sanu, and in guys like Devondre Campbell. So bringing in some more energy with Leroy Reynolds, I'm not against that, especially with his play on special teams and him being able to fill in every now and again in the linebacker set. I'm not against, right? So let's see here. I'm going to get into where did I leave off at? Let's see. Okay, yep, Falconator. He says, I'm finally here, fam. We are glad to have you back. Wound Carter says, rise up, guys. Stay safe. We are trying to do our part, as I am in my humble abode, and Toby is in his humble abode. So we are doing our part for the social distancing campaign. Dexter Vallis, he corrects us. It was Vince Young they had up there in Philly. That's the one I couldn't remember.
I was ready to look it up, but I knew
our chat was going to have us. We got some smart listeners. They always got our back. So
they always.
That's right. Let's see. Little JG 456 says, in my opinion, Gurley will have a good receiving year instead of a rushing year. And yeah, it's going to be interesting because he had a good bit of drops last year. In the receiving aspect, Todd Gurley actually outperformed. Not Todd Gurley, Devontae Freeman actually outperformed Todd Gurley in the receiving. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see if that translates. Maybe he can get back into form, you know. Let's see.
I think he will.
Anthony Wright says James Carpenter had better play up to his potential and play better than he did last year. Well, it'll be 10 former first rounders instead of 11. I agree. I mean, James Carpenter and Jamon Brown, both of them got to live up to those contracts. I mean, who was that tackle or the guard / tackle that we signed from Cleveland, the Packers? What was that guy's name again?
Justin McCray.
What was his name?
Justin McCray.
That's right, McCray. Sorry, you broke up a little bit on that one. Yeah, McCray would be interesting, because he's put in some time for both Green Bay and the Browns, so he could potentially come in and maybe vie for a starting position or even at least solid depth. So I'm glad to see that they're shoring that up, because between bringing back Wetzel and signing McCray, I think McCray is going to end up being your Wes Schweitzer replacement, if I had to take a guess at it. Let's see. VTW says, what's up, JR and Toby? What's up, VT? Cody Paul says, get Murray. I'm assuming he's meaning that linebacker Murray out of Oklahoma. Kenneth Murray, that's his name. I need to go back and do some more watching, because the one thing that we're noticing and we're seeing that now going into the draft, we don't have nearly as many holes as we did before, right? So we're either setting up for a big trade or setting up to go best player available. Right now, the biggest hole I see is at linebacker. So I want to go and watch some more linebackers that potentially may fall to us in the draft. Right now, my best guess at replacing Devondre Campbell and upgrading at Devondre Campbell is Kayvon Chasian. I think he can do a lot of things and more things than what Devondre Campbell was able to give you, in my opinion. Let's see. Anthony Carter says, I like Leroy for special teams. I saw him chase down a lot of punt and kick returns. Yep. Falconator want to ask you, why the heck TD keeps signing Leroy Reynolds? Shake my head. I don't think Falconator is too happy with the Leroy Reynolds signing. But that's...
Falconator. You hurt my heart, man. You hurt my heart.
Anthony Wright. Hey, what's up, Anthony? Glad to see you in here with us. It says the Miami Dolphins have signed 8 free agents this year and have 11 draft picks, 3 in the first round. We should trade down with them and get their 26th pick and some extra picks. That's possible. We always love to say we should trade down, but there has to be somebody that the Dolphins want in our range. You see what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a willing partner, right? So it'll be interesting to see if they do end up pulling that off. That would be nice, because as it stands right now, you got a first, second, third, a 2 fourths, and a 7th. So you got 6 picks right now, and I could see him trying to do some wheeling and dealing and getting a few more picks. That would be encouraging. Let's see. Speed Falcon says, do you think... Oh, crap. I about lost that. Here we go. It says, do you think we should sign Sue and pair him with Grady Jarrett? I wouldn't mind signing Sue. But, again, it's just how much money is he going to cost you? I haven't seen his name being floated out there at all. So, he is getting at the back end of his career. So he may sign closer to when camp starts, kind of deal. And it may be for a 1 or 2 year deal. But if we don't come out with a defensive tackle in the draft, a la Javon Kinlaw, or Neville. What is that kid's name? Neville something Neville. Anyway, there's a handful of defensive tackles that could be had in the first and second round. If we don't come away with one of them, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to go after somebody like a Sue if he's still out there. Let's see. What's your opinion?
Yeah, me. I wouldn't go out there. And Dominic Sue has had a pretty decent career, but I just don't see him as a fit for us. And
yeah.
Plus, Real Pat had brought up something about Alan Bailey played a lot of the snaps at the 3C.
Right, exactly. I think they may view Alan Bailey as more of a defensive tackle, and they almost all but guaranteed Bailey was going to be on the roster because they restructured his deal. They restructured his deal, they restructured Matt Ryan's deal, and they restructured Jake Matthews' deal. We haven't seen the numbers yet, but for all those who bang the drum for Matt Ryan taking a hometown discount, he's done that for you. He's restructured his deal a few times now to get himself some help. He realizes that, so I hope that alleviates some of the issues that some of y'all have with Matt Ryan. But yeah, I'll be interested to see if they feel like they're solid at defensive tackle, which they may at this point. I mean, you have Grady Jarrett, Deidre Snott, Tyler Davidson, and Alan Bailey. You got 4 defensive tackles. Then you have John Kaminsky, who I think might be ready to take over the Adrian Claiborne role of playing defensive end, defensive tackle. So that may be why you're not seeing as much of a rush about re-signing Claiborne.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean,
or Jack Crawford.
Yeah, Jack Crawford is still out there, so it'll be interesting to see if they bring him back on a cheap deal. Let's see who else. Let's see. Where did I leave off at? E. Pratt says, "What's up, fellas? It's Suicidal Beats on Twitter." Oh, okay, cool. What's up, Suicidal? He comments quite a bit on my Twitter stuff, so good to see him actually being able to join us.
Right up.
Han Zolo on the tap music says, "We have to be elite on one side of the ball." You are correct there, sir. I feel like that we do need to try to be elite on one side of the ball, for sure.
It look like that's
yeah, right now. Maybe, look, you know what? I'm starting to think that maybe they watch our channel because they may have heard me talking about Dirk Koetter is only as good as his elite talent. So they decided to go out and get as much elite talent as they could. So we'll see.
Well,
what's up?
No, I said, well, it's going to be interesting to see if they go out to some more elite talent in the draft. I know a lot of people be mad. DeAndre.
Oh, no. I got you. You're going to try to get some people riled up. Jarvis Williams says, JR, I'm hearing Kinlaw is having some big knee issues. Ooh, I don't like the sound of that. I haven't seen that pop up yet. You heard that too?
I heard some things about that during the Senior Bowl time.
That's not good. I like that.
Issues. I was hoping that fade away by now.
I'll say it like this: I'll take it if it's minor and it allows him to drop to 16. How about that? That might be a little selfish though. Let's see. Jarvis also asked, "Have you looked at James Lynch, defensive tackle out of Baylor, had 13.5 sacks last season? Check him out." Okay, cool. I appreciate that heads up. We'll go check him out. James Lynch. All you draft heads out there, go check him out. Falconator says, our main focus should be on defensive tackle and secondary in free agency and draft period. Now, I agree with that. We did bring back Bleedy Ray Wilson, and I was glad to see that. Because if you're going to be leaning on some young guys like that, we do need some veteran presence in that room. So bringing back Bleedy Ray Wilson was a good thing, a good sign for me. I don't know how you felt about him or not. Let's see.
He was exactly what Joe Witt Jr. said he was, solid. Right. He was a dependable, solid player, but I don't see him as being the guy. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Now, usually watching Raheem Morris's defense, he has that guy that follows around your number one dude.
Well,
He did it with a keep the lead. And I suspect they will draft someone with a similar body style. Now, me, preferably, I have two guys, Trayvon Diggs or Bryce Hall. Okay. Those are my two guys right now.
Well, because, okay, that kind of leads into what I was going to ask you. Do you think we have that guy on the roster today? Do you think we have that number one cornerback on the roster as of right now?
No.
Okay, so you think that they're going to try to add somebody in the draft?
Yes.
I agree. I think so, too.
Yes. Now, I wouldn't be mad. I'm in dreaming stage right now because all these moves we done made in free agency. So, I got my eye on some guys that'll probably be well far out of my sight.
Hey, man, they always told me to dream big. So, I mean, go on dream, Let's see.
Well, I'm going
Speed Falcon says, it's nice that we are making moves, but it's frustrating when the rest of the division is making splashes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you consider a 42, 43 by the time the season starts Tom Brady a splash? Because I'm not 100%, thinking that I see it as a splash.
Well, he's a big name.
I mean, he's a name, sure.
He's a big
but
yeah.
But I don't really view it as the Broncos getting Peyton Manning. You see what I'm saying? Like Peyton Manning gave you 2 or 3 good years before he started to go down, right? I don't think that that's what Tom Brady is right now. And especially in a Bruce Arians offense. They have to prove to me that Bruce Arians has got to be willing to dink and dunk.
Right. Right. And Tom Brady has never played in an air Coryell vertical attack. Oh, now.
The closest he had to that is when he had Moss.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting right there,
yeah,
man.
It is going to be interesting, that's for sure. Let's see. Nick says, Dirk loves the screen. That's his way of not running the ball. We better run the ball a little better this year to help Ryan. Yeah. That or they better get out there and block those screens better, one or the other. Because, something's got to give on that aspect. You're right. Anthony Carey says, I feel you, and that's awesome, but I think to solidify the trade, we got to give more. But, yeah, that's a good look. Yeah, no, I agree. A lot of people like to play the trade GM, and I get it, but they always end up having to give up a lot on trade day to move around. And we don't have a ton of capital to be giving up right now. So it'd be interesting to see. I think right now, if you're going to go to move, you're going to end up sacrificing draft picks for next year. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes out. Ghost Peppers. What's up, Ghost Peppers? He says, what's good, fellas? Thomas Dimitroff has done a fantastic job so far, but it won't mean a thing if our birds continue to lack urgency. 4 quarters of football, nothing less. That includes preseason too. I agree. I mean, you can bring in all the players all you want to, but if they don't produce on the field, it's all for naught, right? That's why it's always been like an interesting thing of trying to blame Dimitroff. And look, there were points in times last year that I was willing to, take Dimitroff to the airport, along him and Quinn. So I'm not even going to make bones about that. But I mean, Dimitrov's job is to bring you the players. The coach's job is to coach, and the player's job is to play. That's the thing about, football. It is a team sport from the top to the bottom. So we'll have to hopefully everybody will perform up to their standards this year. Hopefully that back half, everybody wants to point at the back half of that season playing the Tampa Bay and Carolina, and who else did we beat up? Jacksonville was the reason why we had such a good turnaround. But those same folks are forgetting that we went out to San Francisco and beat San Francisco, and we beat New Orleans in New Orleans. So those things are not things that you should, take lightly, right? So if that half of the team, if the second half team shows up, I think we'll be in better playoff contention than not. All right, let's see. Let's get up to Cody Paul. Says Cody says, you better draft somebody to play corner then. But I like the way Wilson plays. Give the guy a chance to start in a whole season before you write him off. I mean, yes, but I think by now in this stage of his career, if Bleedy Ray was a full-time starter, he would have been a full-time starter on somebody's team by now. I'm just glad to have that veteran presence back in the cornerback room. Was the point that I was trying to make there. VTW says Xavier McKinney at safety at 16 would give the secondary so much flexibility. Move Neal closer to the line in that big nickel and let McKinney play coverage. I don't know if they're going to go like safety in 16 unless you're wanting to move Ricardo Allen back to like a corner or something, which could be something they maybe consider. You know, because they've talked about they feel like, or at least what I've gathered so far, they seem like they really want to figure out how to keep DeMonte Casey on the field. And DeMonte Casey has shown to be better at free safety than at slot corner. So I could see a world where we moved Ricardo back into the slot and let DeMonte Casey roam back there. So it'd be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out. Anthony Carey says, ha ha ha, JR, saying Foyer's last name is like me trying to pronounce my fiance's African family at first glance. I feel you, bro. Look, y'all ought to know by now I have a hard time pronouncing anything. You know? So, what is going on? Uh-oh. Did I lose Toby? Recording is poor. Uh-oh. I may have lost Toby. We're going to see how this goes. See, I knew we may end up having some issues with doing this. Let me see if I can get him back here. Let's see. Reconnecting. Y'all have to bear with me for a second. I'm trying to get this back up. Let's see here. Let's see. Call ended. Y'all work with me if y'all don't mind. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Give it a second. There we go.
Am I back?
Yep, I think we're back. I think we're back and going. Okay. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. Again, like I said, we're doing this on the fly here. Y'all have to forgive me. Cool. All right, we're back.
Blame it on the coronavirus.
Blame it on the corona. Everybody, we'll start playing a corona drinking game. Anyway, so, okay, let's get back to where we were before all that went haywire. Okay, Kojak says, I think this is all Rich McCay being aggressive. Now, that's possible. I mean, it's possible that this could be Rich McCay. This could be his influence, the restructuring, because you didn't see a ton of restructuring of the contracts that Dimitrov gave out. So this could be the McCay influence. Juice Talk Sports is in here with us. What's up, Ju? Falconators.
Yeah, I'm starting to see there is a lot of Rich McCay influence in this. What has transpired since after that, after they found out what the cat was and stuff. I see a lot more Rich McCay influence than I do Thomas Dimitrov and Dan Quinn, to be honest with you. And I think that's going to carry over into the draft as well.
I got you. Well, I hope so. I'll be interested to see what his influence. It seemed like some of our draft stuff got better once we had some more people in the room with Thomas at the same time. When we had Scott Pioli and all them guys. So it'll be interesting to see how this transpires. It looks like our video might be chugging a little bit. I apologize about that. Again, y'all have to forgive us this week. I'll try to make some necessary adjustments next week. Let's see. Marty Young says we're going to have at least 2 compensatory picks next year, 3rd and a 4th. I would definitely trade some picks for next year. That's an interesting thing. That's an interesting formula to consider, is the compensatory picks. So you may feel good about trading away some picks. So that is something to keep an eye on. That's a good call there, Marty. Let's see. Cody Paul says, get Diggs then. I like him better than Henderson. I think that's that Trayvon Diggs out of Alabama. I've heard going back and forth. I've seen Diggs as high as the first round, and I've seen Diggs as falling into the second round. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up going. But, yeah, I like his play as well. Let's see. Bobby Boucher says, what's up, Pound for Pound and Falcon family? What do y'all think about the meltdown in Carolina? Where does Cam and Jameis go? That has been the interesting thing. Jameis is still out there. I would have figured by now somebody like the Chargers or the Patriots or somebody like that would have gotten Jameis on at least a 1-year deal by now. But, yeah, that's been shocking. And then as of today, Carolina has released Cam Newton. So the Cam Newton era has come to an end, like unceremoniously. Like, I don't know, like I'm not a huge Cam Newton fan, obviously because he's a rival or was a rival, but I thought he deserved a little bit more than that. But that just could be me, you know. Let's see. James Claiborne says, watch the Falcons draft Jerry Jeudy. Oh my God. I mean,
well, that'll be 12.
Then I'd almost accuse him of trying to collect all the Alabama wide receivers at that point. You know, Julio Jones, Calvin, Jerry Jeudy. Lord have mercy. I believe the Falcons nation would melt down if they did something like that. Let's see. Jew Talk Sports says Rich McCay is the Godfather. He helped build the Bucks championship team with Sapp, Brooks, Barber, and Lynch. That's that's something to consider there. He definitely does have the experience. Jarvis Williams says JR coughing over there. COVID-19 question. I ain't got no daggone COVID-19. I'm coughing because I'm talking so much. Believe it or not, I don't do a ton of talking during the day. So when I get on here with y'all and I start running my mouth, my throat's like, what are you doing, dude? So that's all right though. I got my drink there, so we're good. Oh shoot. Bobby Boucher says, can we trade up for Derek Brown? Carolina ain't doing nothing with him. Derek Brown, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see what they do there. Let's see.
That's one of my dreams.
Yeah, you dreaming there for sure. Archangel asks, where does Freeman go? I don't know. I mean, wherever he goes, it ain't going to be for much money, I wouldn't think. A guy who...
And I don't think he's going
I don't think so either. Maybe as, camp progresses, if somebody gets hurt or something like that, he may catch on that way. But I definitely don't see, like I said, I definitely don't see him landing anywhere, anytime soon, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Marty Young says, Cam as our backup. Cam Newton is not coming in as a backup. So I just, no. I mean, sure, would I like to have a former MVP as the backup? Sure. But former MVPs don't come and be backups. You know what I'm saying? Especially not at this junction in their career. Let's see. Okay, somebody asked that. Robert Bennett says, what if Riggs fell in the Falcons' lap or not best player? I think it was that Henry Riggs or Ruggs, or is that other wide receiver from Alabama? Man, I hope they don't take a wide receiver high. I mean, you got Laquan Treadwell now, which we hadn't really even touched on. And so I don't think taking a receiver right now would be a smart play.
If anybody, I'm going DeAndre Swift. I wouldn't say necessarily 16, but if you're going to do that with an offensive player, I'm going DeAndre Swift. But other than that, no wide receiver, man. We got enough wide receivers, and you just went out and got Jaden Hurst, which has stretching field ability.
And that's something we haven't touched on as of yet. I think Jaden Hurst. Oh crap! I think I may just. All right. I think Hayden, man, I keep saying Jaden. Sorry about that, y'all. Hayden Hurst. I think then, hold on, reconnected successful. Man. Okay. Man, y'all gonna have to forgive us. I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on. And maybe let's just go ahead and maybe wrap this thing up. I don't know. You know what? No. Let's just keep pushing. We'll keep pushing and see what happens. We only got about another 10 minutes or so anyway. All right, so anyway, what I was saying is that I think Hayden Hurst's field stretching ability is going to come into play a lot more than people are thinking right now. And I think here in Atlanta, he's going to be given a lot more opportunity to put that on display. Now, it's going to be up to him to take it, and it's going to be up to him to figuratively and literally run with it. But I think that it's a real chance for him to put those doubters to rest and show people why he was drafted in the first round ahead of Lamar Jackson by the same team. You see what I'm saying? They didn't take him in the first round for no reason. So it'll be real interesting to see how that ends up transpiring. Let's go ahead and hit up some more questions here real quick. Jew Talk Sports says, what do y'all think about Terrell Lewis and Roquan Davis? I like either one of those guys in the second round, Roquan Davis or Terrell Lewis. Both of those guys as a second round pick would be great for me. I like them both. I think they both have upsides, but I also think they both have liabilities or deficiencies at this junction in their game. So it'll be interesting to see, But like I said, in the second or third round, I would take either one of those guys. Archangel says, we got enough running backs. I agree. I don't. If we do something crazy like take DeAndre Swift in the first round, then they better do some cutting in the running back room. That's for sure.
Smith.
Yeah, exactly. Smith. Exactly. Anthony Wright says, so Falcons Nation, your thought about trading with Miami? Okay, he's all up in the draft there. All that is, sure, if we can make that happen, that sounds like fun. But VTW says, why would we take a running back at 16 when we can get good backs in the later rounds? No, I agree there. I'm not about, me personally, I'm not about taking a running back at 16. I would much rather wait until.
Now listen,
what's that?
I just said I'm dreaming.
No,
I'm dreaming. This ain't. But I wouldn't be mad at it. But I'm just dreaming. If he just one of my dream picks.
Let's see. Dom Kennedy says Dante Fowler is going to kill it in Atlanta. I believe in his talent. You don't luck into 11.5 sacks, just like Vic didn't luck into 15. But I think what Vic was lacking was the passion and the drive, and I think that's what Dante has. He has the passion and the drive, and he has the want to. So I think having the want to can make up for a lot, in my opinion. So that's I'll be glad to see what Dante Fowler brings here. Archangel says, my thoughts is you can never have enough pass rush 28-3, grr. Yeah, I agree. No, you got to keep that pass rush going. Hayden Hurst. Okay, Bobby says Hayden Hurst is about to do some amazing things for us. Some Raven fans said he had the best hands on their team. I'm telling you, dude, you don't go in the first round as a tight end for nothing. So I believe that's going to turn out to be a good deal for Atlanta, in my opinion.
You know what I'm hoping?
Yeah.
Hayden Hurst. You know what I'm hoping for Hayden Hurst, that we can get the same type of results that we got out of Michael Turner, who's behind LaDainian.
I was thinking that same thing. Now, when we picked up Turner, I was just kind of newly getting into football, so I wasn't really paying attention to what everybody was saying. But I'd be curious if I had a time machine to go back in and see what the Falcons community was saying about us signing Michael Turner. Maybe you remember what they were saying.
It's always threads that are still out there that goes back that far. You'd be surprised on the internet.
No, you're true. It's always out there on the internet. Nothing is safe there. That's for sure. Anthony Carey says, what is pound for pound's top 3 players to target if available realistically? Okay. I will give you my top 3 in the draft realistically. Javon Kinlaw is my number 1.
Okay.
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 Depending on how it breaks out, he could be sitting there at 16. Okay. So that's my number 1. My number 2 is Kaylavon Chasian. He's my number 2 because I really feel like you're going to need somebody to replace Devondre Campbell, and I think he could be an upgrade to Devondre Campbell. Okay. Then my number 3 is, as it stands right now, is C.J. Henderson from Florida. But I will admit that at this junction, I haven't put a ton of time into watching cornerbacks. So I could easily be swayed in a bunch of different ways. The Fulton kid, Kirsten Fulton or Fowler, whatever, the LSU cornerback. Christian Fulton, that's his name. It could easily go either way. I haven't put a ton of time in there. But my top 2 for sure is Kinlaw and Chasian. What about you? What's your top 3?
All mine is probably trade back, depending on who we can work something out with. But with that being said, my 3 are Trayvon Diggs.
Okay.
That's my number 1 guy right there. I don't know why I'm on him like that, but I like his aggressive style. Now, he does get in trouble sometimes being too aggressive, sloppy technique with his speed. But that can be worked out with Joe Witt. My other guy is, of course, Ross Blacklock from TCU. And my last guy is the guy I mentioned also with Trayvon Diggs is Bryce Hall from Virginia.
Okay, I've seen that name pop up. Okay. So right now your big deals are you're more on the cornerbacks than I am right now. And that's good because I think honestly, as it stands today, if you were to put a proverbial gun to my head and say, JR, who are you drafting? Who are the Falcons drafting right now? It would be a cornerback. If I had to, if I had to go with what my gut is telling me, my gut doesn't fit the mold of the cornerbacks that Quinn likes. Quinn has tried to get him a cornerback 2 or 3 times now since he's been here, with Oliver and Collins and a handful of the other guys, even in the later rounds. But I think that this year he might finally get him a first-round cornerback in the mold of what he wants. So it'll be interesting to see, how that transpires. Do you see any more free agent signings for us on the future?
No.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I'm thinking that if we do sign some other guys, it'll be in the summer, for camp and stuff like that. If somebody gets hurt, what have you. So yeah, I think I agree with you there. I think we're done as far as free agency goes. It's definitely been a fun free agent period. A lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. So with that being said, I do think that we're that we're done dabbling in the free agent market. Anthony Wright says Hayden Hurst will have better numbers than Austin Hooper, and nothing against Hooper, but as Hooper's numbers will drop, and it's about the quarterback. Hooper doesn't have all the hype. Now I agree there. That's something that some people have been noticing, that we're really going to find out if it was Hooper that had the talent, or if, as most of us figure, that Matt Ryan actually does make people around him better. Hence, I can list a bunch of guys, but you saw what Mohamed Sanu did with Tom Brady, which was next to nothing. I know he was dealing with some injuries up there, but, quarterbacks matter, Let's see.
Yeah.
Jeremy Cole says DQ drafted 5 cornerbacks since he's been here, and he's never valued defensive tackles. Kinlaw and Brown are pipe dreams. They're either trading up for Okudah or trading back. That would be interesting. I mean, if Okudah starts to slip down, then that would be interesting to see how that goes. Let's see here. VTW says they better not trade up for no Okudah. They'd have to give up everything. Yeah, I've seen him go as high as 3 to Detroit. Yeah, you'd have to give up a lot. Anthony Wright brings up Marlon Davison out of Auburn. Yeah, that guy's he's a good day 2, day 3 guy if you're looking for a defensive end, in that aspect. So yeah, there's a lot of good names out there. There's a lot of good prospects out there. There's a lot of good. This draft is going to be real interesting. With as many holes as they have filled up, it'll be interesting to see how it goes from here. But I think we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this thing up before my computer decides to melt down. You can find you can find me on Twitter at Grim1128. That's GRIMM1128. Toby, where can they reach you at, man?
Toby D, 1991.
Right. Now keep an eye, especially as this off season is winding up. We're going to start putting out some more do our typical think pieces kind of stuff on the channel. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell, get them notifications, because we're going to be trying to put out some more videos throughout the week, especially with this Corona stuff going on. Give y'all something to watch as y'all are locked down, so to speak. But we appreciate y'all's support, and we'll be back again in another 2 weeks with a live stream, hopefully a little bit better than this one as far as quality. But as always, Falcons fans, rise up.